Could I ask all non-starting players and officials to please return to the sideline?
Good afternoon, and you're welcome to Páirc Tailteann for this intermediate hurling championship semi-final between Trim and Wolf Tones. We're just a couple of minutes late on the throw-in. A little bit of delay in getting the crowd out following the Premier FC Division 3 final, with St Columkills beat Walterstown 113 to 5 points earlier here this afternoon. But the two teams, well, Trim are still in the huddle down to our right hand side here at the O'Mahony's end in Páirc Tailteann. I had to just go through a couple of changes in jerseys. The players came out wearing numbers that were different to those that were called out over the PA, so a couple of changes in jersey numbers for the Trim players there. The Wolf Tones players are in position and ready for the off. Trim players, we said, in the huddle, getting the final instructions there from Declan Murray in the middle of the huddle. Rory, Trim were probably joined here on co-cons by Rory Dowling, and just looking forward to this game, Rory. Trim will probably go in as underdogs, slight underdogs in this game, being a second team. But off the back of an impressive victory over Rathmolline in the quarter-final, they'll certainly hold no fear here today.
Absolutely, they were underdogs that day against Rathmolline, and probably the game of the season so far. One of the games of the season, certainly that game, the Trim Rathmolline game here in the quarter-final 2 weeks ago. Trim ran out with a late won by a point with a late score from Arnie McGee. But yeah, we'll run through the teams here. But Trim certainly won't hold any fear. Yeah, they're looking forward to this. I know the training has been great during the week. It's been a great buzz around the club, so we're all ready to go. I know you'll try our best to get the same numbers sorted here. There's some confusion over the jersey numbers, but we'll give it your best shot there.
Yeah, look, once the numbers correspond to the names that we have on the sheet, it should be easy enough. Just as Marcus Quinn is just preparing to throw the ball in, we'll run down through the Trim team in numerical order, not necessarily in the way they're lined out. But in goals is number 1 Callum Buckley, number 2 will be Cian Walsh, 3 Colin McGrath, 4 Dara Kennedy as the ball is thrown in, and Trim going the attack straight away with Kieran O'Rourke. So Kieran O'Rourke gets inside the 45 metre line, where he's fouled there by Thomas. It looked as if he was fouled by Thomas O'Reilly, but referee Marcus Quinn says he overcarried the ball, so it's going to be a free out for Wolf Tones. So Jerry Farley plays it down to that right hand side in the direction of Caola Callaghan. A lot of these Wolf Tones players would be familiar names on the football front, a lot of them either former or current Meath footballers, as Wolf Tones go on the attack straight away. Well, Éanna Harrington gets inside the Trim defence and he tries to bat the ball over, but it's cut out by Jack Cottrell, and Jack Cottrell gets it up on the stick and shovels it out. He looks to have pulled up with a bit of an injury there straight away as he shovelled the ball out towards Kieran O'Rourke, but Jack Cottrell is hobbling in there. Didn't seem to be much of a contact on Jack, but it's back with Jack now again, and he completes the clearance down this right hand side. We're underneath it. Danny Coleman watches the ball go out over the sideline, and it will be a sideline ball for Wolf Tones, and it looks as if that will be taken by Conor Shepherd. No, he just drops the ball down, and it's Éanna O'Kelly Lynch who will come out to take it. And he thought about
Jack Cottrell carrying a bit of an injury there. He didn't train much during the week. Fergal, he had to sit out 1 or 2 of the training sessions, so he's been carrying a bit of a leg injury, so hopefully he can run it off.
Looked as if a bit of a calf there, Rory. But it's a good sideline cut there by Éanna O'Kelly Lynch. It drops inside the D, and it's Wolf Tones number 12 Dara Canny who gets up for it, and he just doesn't get his hit off straight away, and there was a foul by Éanna Harrington inside on Gary Fleming, and it will be a free out for Trim. Getting carried away with myself here, but it's a long clearance. The wind, I know in the first game certainly helped the teams that were kicking in to the hospital end, but I'm not sure how much of an effect it'll have in the hurling game. A bit of a scrum developing here, a bit of stalemate in midfield with Jerry Farley getting on the ball for Wolf Tones. He plays it back towards Brian Mead. Brian Mead plays it down inside the 45 metre line, where it's well taken inside there by Dara Canny. Dara Canny gets inside Dara Kennedy, which isn't too easy to say, and that's an opening point of the game. 2.5 minutes gone, and that is a point for Dara Canny. He gets Wolf Tones off the mark. As I said, 2 minutes and 22 seconds gone in the opening half of this intermediate hurling semi-final, and it's Wolf Tones who lead by 1 point to no score. Good score there, Rory.
Yeah, it's been all Wolf Tones in the opening couple of exchanges of play here. Trim haven't got onto the ball at all.
Yeah, with that wind, as I said earlier on, definitely helped the team playing into this hospital end in the first game. So any bit of wind that is there, that's Donald Keoghan, Meath footballer, trying to battle for possession there. As James Cullen comes out with the ball for Trim, he plays it centrally towards Gary Fleming, and Gary Fleming completes the clearance in the direction of Joey Toole. Joey doesn't get much on it, but it breaks through to Arnie McGee, and Arnie McGee is fouled, and this should be just a tap over free for Arnie. He's fouled just outside the 20 metre line, inside the D, right in front of the post, and did well there. Good long clearance from Callum Buckley in the goals.
Yeah, but if you know Arnie and his frees, Fergal, he doesn't tap anything over the bar. This is going to go high and long, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, well, 65 metres or 25 metres, it's the same ferocity. He'll be behind both of them, but we're 3 minutes and 24 seconds into this game, and it's an opportunity for Arnie McGee to level it up. And thank God there's a ball stop behind the goals, or there'll be broken windows in the O'Mahony's clubhouse. So we're all square in Park Tolchin, the intermediate hurling semi-final. Trim 1 point, Wolf Tones 1 point, and it's a puck out from Killian O'Brien right down here on the stand side, and it's gone out. A little bit of debate about that line ball. It looks as if it's a line ball for Trim. The linesman isn't too sure, but it's going to be a line ball, I think, for Trim, and it looks as if David Murta is going to be the one to take it. It's a cold afternoon here, Rory. I know it looks bright and looks a fine afternoon here in Park Tolchin, but it's cold, and players will be eager to get warmed up and get a good touch on the ball early on. Ah,
yeah, once they start though, the cold, it's dry and there's a bit of a breeze, but nothing too bad, so it's perfect conditions for hurling, and the pitch looks to be in great condition, as it has been for the last month or so. So credit to the ground staff here.
So Wolf Tones going to the attack here again, and it's great ball inside by Éanna Harrington in towards Stephen Shepherd, the captain of Wolf Tones. He manages to get inside Gary Fleming. He has an opportunity of a goal, but the ball goes over the bar, and that's the second point for Wolf Tones. They restored their lead, and it looks as if we just wait for the player to turn around there. It is a point for Stephen Shepherd, the captain of Wolf Tones, and he restores Wolf Tones' lead. Just coming up on 5 minutes gone. It's Wolf Tones 2 points, Trim 1 point. And it's another long puck out from Callum Buckley, and it's a great fetch by Peter Farrell. He rises high and puts the ball onto the stick, and he races inside the 45 metre line. He centres the ball in towards Danny Coleman, and Danny Coleman gets it, picks it up outside the D, does a little pirouette on the sideline, but his pass is cut out there by Conor Shepherd, and Conor Shepherd completes the clearance down the right hand side for Wolf Tones. Referee spots a foul off the ball, so this will be a free for Wolf Tones, probably from their own 65, by judging by the direction where Marcus Quinn is going. But that was an opportunity for Trim there, Rory. A great run, and probably should have really made a better score and fist of it.
Yeah, I think Danny maybe should have taken the shot on. He's into the breeze there. Maybe that's what prevented him from doing it, or persuaded him not to do it. But Wolf Tones are going along with the ball, anything to get it, even in their full back line here. Everything seems to be going along, so they're trying to use the conditions to their advantage early on here.
So as Éanna Harrington standing over this free, he'll be in midfield when he strikes it. It looks good. It's definitely got the accuracy, but well fielded in there by Callum Buckley, and his clearance was blocked down, and it's out for a wide. I don't know what the debate is here. I think the umpire got a little bit confused. Callum Buckley's clearance was blocked down in there by Donald Keoghan, and it's out harmless for a wide. So it was a great fetch by Peter Farrell in that last one, and I'm sure he'll be the target again for Callum's puck out. And as Peter is attacking the ball straight away, but it's Davy Murta who gets on to the end of it, and it's Davy Murta in a bit of a scrap now, and the ball could break either side, but it's breaking now with Thomas O'Reilly, another of the Meath footballing contingent, and it's cleared long by Jerry Farley. Played into that long corner, into the right, in towards Dara Canny. Dara Canny and Dara Kennedy having a good tussle over on that side, and a great block by James Cullen on Caleb Halligan's effort. And Caleb Halligan delivers it low then in towards Donald Keoghan, with pressure being applied there by Cian Walsh, and it's Colin McGrath who has the ball, and he's trying to burst his way out and comes to David Murta, and David Murta completes the clearance down towards the Trim forwards, where Aaron McGee was the first one out, but it's with Kevin Lennon over on that far side. He plays it in centrally in towards Conor McKeown, but he can't win the ball, and it's picked out by Owen Harrington, and it's Wolf Tones getting the ball away. Mark Coleman now, but that was a poor ball by Mark Coleman, but it wasn't cut out by Kieran O'Rourke when it really should have been. And it's Wolf Tones on the attack here again, shovel back out towards Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman might have a strike at the post here from inside the 65. It dropped short, probably didn't get as clean a strike, but it might fall to Éanna O'Kelly-Lynch, and Éanna O'Kelly-Lynch manages to break free of 2 challenges. He managed to break free from Callum Walsh and from Gary Fleming, and he puts the ball over the bar, and that is 3 points for Wolf Tones, 1 point for Trim. 7.5 minutes gone in the opening half,
and 3 separate scorers for Wolf Tones too, so their forwards are looking very lively in these early stages. Trim just need to tighten up in the backs here.
So another long puck out from Callum Buckley, and again Peter Farrell is the target, and Peter gets up and manages to break it down and wins his own break. So that's great work by Peter Farrell, but he's surrounded by 3 Wolf Tones players who apply enough pressure on him to force the turnover, and it's Wolf Tones who go in the attack again here, and it's Gary Fleming trying to apply a bit of pressure on Stephen Shepherd. Stephen Shepherd, of course, another former Meath footballer from
that should be a good battle. Gary, one of our up and coming young stars, against a veteran in Stephen there at centre forward for Wolf Tones.
Yeah, and Stephen Shepherd getting the better of that one, Rory. It's you don't want to be giving away too many frees in this position. The wind does certainly help the team attacking that hospital end, so we don't want to be giving away too many frees in this position because they will be punished.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Éanna Harrington again standing over this one. He's just about 3 or 4 metres outside the 45 metre line. Oh, he doesn't get any turn on it, and it was aimed to the right, and it looked to be kept in there by Dara Canny, but he just couldn't keep it in.
Yeah,
got a
lucky there.
there.
Absolutely a bit of a let off. Yeah, as you say, they've conceded a few frees now, Trim, and they just need to start winning possession. So maybe another long puck out towards this side.
Callum Buckley again, and
Buckley's penalised there. I didn't see anything there now myself. But
2 players contesting the ball, and Kieran O'Rourke competing with Éanna O'Kelly-Lynch. It was hard to see how the referee spotted a foul there, but it's another example of Trim, not that we could see what the free was, but it's another example of conceding a soft free. So hopefully it won't be made pay for it. This time it's going to be Thomas O'Reilly, an ace free taker at football. Let's see how good he is with Come On and Schlitter. And it looks as if it's going to drop to the right and wide, and it has gone wide. So we're just coming up on 10 minutes gone, Rory, and it's Wolf Tones who lead by 3 points to 1. Trim will be pleased enough with the start. There is a breeze out there, it's a swirling breeze.
There is, they haven't really settled yet, Fergal. I'd like to see them just getting a bit more possession of the ball and just working through their phases of play, which they have done in the last couple of rounds. But that's better by Colin McGrath. I think back to Gaz there. Gaz clears the ball. So
a long clearance from Gary Fleming is aimed towards Joey Toole. He gets the stick up, but it didn't break kindly for Aaron McGee, and it's Owen Harrington who sweeps in for Wolf Tones to pick it up. Mark Coleman, he plays the ball into a central position towards Brian Mead. Brian Mead then goes out towards Caleb Halligan. That's Stephen Shepherd, Wolf Tones captain, on the ball again. We can't afford to give him a yard or two of space, and he delivers the ball in long towards Donald Keoghan, who tries to get a flick on it, but Callum Buckley is out and manages to pick up the loose ball, and it's a clever clearance out towards James Cullen, but his long ball isn't Arnie McGee isn't out in front, and it's cut out by Brian Mead, another name familiar to Meath football supporters. But again, that ball in by Wolf Tones is cut out by Jack Cottrell. But Trim struggling, Rory, at this stage to find their men cleanly with the ball. They've had plenty of opportunities to clear the ball out, but they're not finding their own men.
Our forwards are in behind their men every time, Fergal. But Peter's battling well there.
Yeah, another good ball by Peter Farrell. But again, he tried to play it in behind Conor McKeown, but it's cut out there by the Wolf Tones defender. And here goes Mark Coleman contesting with Danny Coleman. No relation, I'm sure.
Not that I'm aware of, no. But Trim are feeding on scraps here, the inside forwards. The ball that's going in, as you say, is not great, and the few balls that have gone in, they've been behind their men, so they really want to sharpen up here. Wolf Tones look a hell of a lot sharper here in these opening 10 minutes. So
a sideline cut to be taken by David Murtagh. It's a good cut by David, and Conor McKeown managed to get a stick on it to divert it a little bit further on, and Arnie McGee is fouled in there. This will be an opportunity for Arnie. He'd certainly fancy it, but he's only a metre in from the sideline. Probably 23 or 4 metres from the end line, so this won't be an easy one.
Decky Murray just getting Joey to go to the far post in case the ball rebounds or something, so Joey just moving his way in there towards the goals.
So Arnie McGee gets the thumbs up from the referee to fire ahead, has a look at the posts, strikes it. He never got it on target, it was always to the right and never turned from that straight line at all, and it remains Wolf Tones 3 points, Trim 1 point. and we're 12 minutes and 24 seconds into the opening half. The long puck out from Killian O'Brien falls into midfield, and it's Wolf Tones who managed to pick it up with Kayla Callaghan on the ball. Kayla Callaghan shows a turn of pace there to get away from midfield and delivers the ball into this left-hand corner, whereas Cian White is Colin McGrath actually who's standing up. Éanna Harrington managed to get away, and he having a chance for Donald Keoghan, and the umpire over there is saying it's out for a 65. That was another opportunity. They seem to be a bit more direct and a bit more potent in their attack, Wolf Tones. When they get the ball into that area, they're getting their shots away.
They certainly are. Trim are very tentative around the breaking ball. Wolf Tones seem to be picking up all the bits and pieces, and they're playing very direct ball, good ball into their forwards, who are, as you say, they're lively and they're out in front. And Trim are literally clinging on by their fingernails at the moment. So the water break and whatever can't come soon enough, to be honest.
Yeah, another probably 90 seconds or 2 minutes to the water break, and this will be at 65 to be taken by Éanna Harrington for Wolf Tones. So Éanna Harrington standing over this from the shot by Donald Keoghan, obviously deflected out for the 65. Éanna Harrington strikes it. He's got the height and the distance, but he hasn't got the accuracy, and thankfully for Trim, that's another effort that's gone out to the right and wide. They're squandering opportunities here, Wolf Tones.
That's 3 place balls in a row I think they put wide now, so Trim are certainly clinging on here. They need to try and win a ball now and manufacture a score. Joey Toole has come out now in search of this puck out. He's coming out deep.
Kevin Lennon changing the side for the puck, and it was Joey Toole breaking it down to Kevin Lennon, and referee is spotting a foul there, a hand on his shoulder, and he's saying that Trim can't continue with their progression towards the goal, and he's not happy with some of the complaints about the awarding of that free. But yeah, he's saying that there was a Wolf Tones player pushed or shoved over on that far side, so it's going to be a free for Wolf Tones, and Trim need to improve their discipline, Rory.
They do, yeah. Arnie just needs to get his head up there and get into the game a little bit. He's kind of moping around a little bit there after a couple of balls there haven't gone his way, and he a soft enough free to concede there, but he definitely had his hand, I think, on the cornerback's back or shoulder there as he was going for that ball, so the referee was right, I think, on that occasion.
So free from Thomas O'Reilly for Wolf Tones,
and
again
wide.
That's 4, as you said. It was 3 before that. That's 4 in a row now, 4 missed place balls, and that wind, it mightn't look it when you're looking at the flags, but out in the middle of the field it's deceptively strong. So
yeah, you can see Caelan's puck outs here hanging a little bit when he gets under them.
So this one is aimed towards Davy Murta again, and Joey Toole is trying to get onto the end of it. And Joey's good wrist work there to get the ball into a bit of space, but the ball just ran out over the sideline, and it's going to be a sideline for Wolf Tones.
Yeah, Trim brought Joey out to the half forward line and put Peter into the corner. I think Arnie McGee has gone into full forward, so Joey just trying to get out and just pick up some scraps there around the half forward line against the breeze to try and feed some ball in. Yeah,
they just need a cooler head on the ball when they do get it in. They've snatched and lost possession, but that's a poor sideline, and it's gathered up straight away, and it's played in towards Arnie McGee, but it's breaks down, and Arnie doesn't manage to hold on to it, and it's Brian Meath who comes out with the ball for Wolf Tones. Plays it on to Kayla Callaghan. Kayla Callaghan drops the ball onto the stick and shows a clean pair of heels. There's nobody getting near him as Gary Fleming is trying to get across in front of him, and that's another wide from Kayla Callaghan. That's a succession of wides for Wolf Tones. They're really letting Trim stay in the game here. There's 16 minutes gone. This will probably be the water break now, and there's 16 minutes gone, and it's Wolf Tones 3 points and Trim 1 point. 1 point's a poor return for Trim, but I suppose we're lucky to be still only 2 points behind.
Yeah, as you say, Trim are been allowed to stay in this game because of the wides that Wolf Tones have had. That's been 4 place balls and 1 or 2 maybe from play as well. But Trim do need to sharpen up a little bit here and just get some ball and start working through the phases, through the passage of play. They've been very, very good in the first couple of rounds, and they were excellent against Rathmolline here last week or 2 weeks ago, as we said. But they're still in the game.
Will they take any comfort, Rory, from the fact that they haven't played well so far, and that they know they're capable of better, and they can maybe kick-start into something?
Absolutely. I think that it'll be an easy enough team talk to give to them here, even though you're not allowed team talks at water breaks. One of your pet hobbies.
I've started Lent early and decided to give up complaining about it for Lent.
I mean, I think it'll be an easy enough thing to be saying. That'll be the obvious thing that'll be said to the Trim players, and they will know themselves. So they just need to get on the ball. The feature of their play in the earlier games has been the possession that Davy and Kieran O'Rourke have got in the middle of the field. That hasn't happened yet today. So we need to get those 2 lads on the ball, and once they have the ball, they will start. Everything will flow from there. They'll either carry the ball in or move the ball in, but that just hasn't happened. They need to get that primary possession, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Who do the younger players look to here, Rory, to talk to them and calm them down. Who are the main men, the talkers in there that will help settle things on the pitch? I know Declan Murray is doing plenty of talking in there, and so is CJ, and I'm sure Chiver's having his words too, but on the field, who'll be the talkers?
Well, Joey Toole there will certainly, they will look to him, and he will lead by example as well. If he gets half a chance at all, he can work a bit of magic. In the back, Dara Kennedy will do an awful lot of talking as well, encouraging lads and shouting and roaring the whole time. And James Cullen there at wing back certainly will be doing talking. So some of the older lads that are there, will certainly do the talking. There's a couple of young lads there on the team. Conor McKeown hasn't got much of a ball yet. Danny Coleman here just beside us, he's wearing 9, he's playing wing forward. And lefty Kevin Lennon over the far side as well. They just need to start getting on some ball. I think the Wolf Tones lads are probably a little bit older and a little bit, they're hardy guys, and they're just muscling the Trim lads off the ball. Trim just can't get that primary possession. But we'll see how we go now for the next 15 minutes. Fergal, hopefully we can get 1 or 2 scores.
Play will resume now with Callum Buckley's puck out down on our left hand side on the hospital end here in Partolchin. And again, you can see the way it's been held up in the wind, that swirling breeze just holding up Callum Buckley's puck outs. And it's Mark Coleman who gets it and plays it back towards Jerry Farley. Jerry Farley delivers it long down this left hand sideline where Jack Cottrell managed to get in and nick it out for a sideline.
He still doesn't look comfortable, Jack. Actually, he still seems to be hopping around a little bit. He doesn't look comfortable to me.
It's something really the management team might have to have a look at if they're not happy with him. It's a good sideline cut in there by Ian O'Kelly Lynch. And the referee spotted a shove in the back of Dara Kennedy, I think. I think a shove by Dara Kenny on the back of Dara Kennedy. So that is going to be a free out.
It'll be a fair shove now to get Dara off the ball. Dara Kennedy off the ball, in fairness. I don't think Dara certainly wasn't looking for a free at all there, but he'll take it when it's given to him.
So Gary Fleming with the free, and there's plenty of distance in that one, but Peter Farrell not getting on to the end of that, and it was an easy enough pick up for Jerry Farley, and he plays it out to the right hand side where Kayla Callaghan is on the ball. He looks up and tries to play central to Aina Harrington. Aina Harrington now tries to get around and create a little yard of space for himself, and he puts the ball over the bar. A point for Aina Harrington. It's their 4th different scorer as Wolf Tones lead by 4 points to 1. 17 and a half minutes gone in the opening half of this intermediate hurling semi-final. So puck out from Callum Buckley. Peter Farrell is the target again, but it's Joey Toole who wins it. First time we've seen Joey really with the ball in hand. It's a beautiful little flick inside, which gets him inside the 45 metre line. Hand pass out to the right hand side to Peter Farrell. Peter Farrell has a strike. It's on target. It's over the bar. It's not. It's just gone to the right and wide. He didn't get a great connection with it, and while it might have started out on target, it was turning and turning the whole time, and it just might have been inches wide. But it's good to see Joey Toole getting on the ball, Rory.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need to get Joey on the ball and get things motoring. Go hard, Davey.
So it's a plucked out of the air there by Mark Coleman for Wolf Tones, and he sends the ball in long. So it's Colin McGrath trying to apply a little bit of pressure there to Aina Harrington, but Aina Harrington creates that little yard of space, and it's the first player to move into a second score for Wolf Tones. 5 points to Wolf Tones, 1 point to Trim, and Trim will have to be careful that this game doesn't get away from them now.
Yeah, Aina Harrington is a lovely hurler. Is just starting to find his mojo in there now. It's a couple of good balls. They're playing everything straight in front of him there, and he's winning most of them so far.
So that ball, long clearance from Callum Buckley, and Trim just couldn't get on the end of it, and now it's Jack Cottrell. So still showing some signs of that injury that he's carrying. He couldn't really drive on to win that ball. So a bit of a scrum developing here in midfield, and the ball is broken out then to David Murta. Now it's David Murta. He races inside the 45 metre line. He's got Thomas O'Reilly trying to knock the ball away from him, and Thomas O'Reilly gets back in there and muscles him out of the way. You can see the strength of the older Wolf Tones players, the players that have this inter-county football experience and training behind them. So you can see how the Trim younger players are getting muscled off the ball there, Rory.
Yeah, it's very obvious. But again, and they're hunting in packs too. Davey ran through there. There was 4 Wolf Tones players around them, and the support is just not there. The Trim lads just need to up the intensity all around the pitch. So
it's Kieran O'Rourke on the ball over on that far side. It's into Kevin Lennon. Kevin Lennon goes round Brian Meath, and the referee is saying he threw it up or he overcarried it. A couple of very strange decisions by the referee here, and we're wondering ourselves. We don't like to criticise referees too often, but we have to question why that is, and Declan Murray is doing the same. Anybody know what that was a foul for?
I thought that was a free. The other way, I thought Kevin got a bit of a slap there as he ran by. But
Wolf Tones have taken that free quickly and is into Éanna Harrington, and he delivers the ball in long, and it's going to break to Dara Canny, but it's Jack Cottrell make great intervention there to prevent the scoring opportunity, and it's Gary Fleming who's coming out with the ball, and he has time to even fix his face guard as he was coming out from defence there. But again, it's Wolf Tones that extra strength and muscle in midfield with Thomas O'Reilly getting under. He delivers a long ball. This is into the danger area. This could end up anywhere, and it's broken to Donald Keoghan. Donald Keoghan is tackled by Gary Fleming. If anything, that looked like it could have been a foul compared to some of the frees we've seen given earlier on. But Gary Fleming gets away with one there. But Trim are trying to complete their clearance. So Jack Cottrell gets out, and it's James Cullen who's coming out from defence with it now. He plays it down the left-hand side, down to Conor McKeown. The first time we've seen Conor McKeown get on the ball. And he just tries to get inside. He turns his man brilliantly. Keeps going. He's the ball in the stick. He has to lead him. It looked as if he caught the ball a couple of times there. And I think
the referee didn't see it, but the umpire here, I think, signalled to the referee that he caught the ball 3 times. So the referee had missed that, but the umpire brought it to his attention, and I think it's a free out.
He is correct, but I'm not sure it's the umpire's job to call those.
I don't see it. I've seen that done before, but
it's the umpire's job to call off the ball fouls or something to spots like that, and to call the scores as well. I'm not sure it's the umpire's job to call that. But the umpire can call that, and Marcus Quinn certainly didn't see it. And we can have no complaints really.
No, but I can hear a few of the Trim line here shouting that very point into the referee that the umpire can't call that. But anyway, the game is back underway.
Yeah, it's Wolf Tones going the attack again. That's their captain Stephen Shepherd over on that far side, and he's been plenty of pressure applied there, but he manages to get inside, and it's still Wolf Tones who go on the attack. He's after that certainly wasn't the figure that anybody watching on Facebook needed to see. We'll just try and get in a little bit closer onto the action here. No, we're back again. Okay, so we're back now, and that was a good break of ball. It's good. David Murtagh gets onto the end of it. Good battling there by David Murtagh, and he knocks it down, but Danny Coleman isn't going to be able to get onto the end of it, and it looks as if Gerard O'Brien is going to come out with the ball there. There's a heavy challenge put in on Mark Coleman, but Mark Coleman holds his ground. Arnie McGee goes in heavy. It's with Joey Toole. Joey Toole tries to play the ball inside, and it's Conor McKeown who's going to chase down Killian O'Brien, but he's not going to get there, and Killian O'Brien is going to complete the clearance out to the right hand side, and it's Wolf Tones who are going on the attack again, and it's Éanna Harrington who's going to be the first one out there. Pressure applied on him by Kevin Lennon, but Éanna Harrington gets away from Kevin Lennon, cuts in onto his left hand side, delivers the ball in the direction of Éanna Candy Lynch. Éanna Candy Lynch is a heavy challenge applied by Colin McGrath, but the ball comes out to Stephen Shepherd, and the captain for Wolf Tones makes it 6 points for Wolf Tones, 1 point for Trim. 23 minutes gone in this opening half. Trim need to get another score on the board, and quickly, Rory.
They do, but even in the last 2 or 3 minutes, it's obvious that Trim have stepped up the ante a little bit, and they're fighting a little harder for the ball, so it's a good sign. So hopefully we can just turn that into a score now.
Joey Toole underneath that, but it breaks Wolf Tones' way, and it's Conor Shepherd on the ball. He races back towards his own 45-metre line to get a bit of space. He's chased by Conor McKeown, and a good hook by Conor McKeown to make that difficult clearance a little bit more difficult even for Conor Shepherd. It's Dara Canny over on that far side, and there's too much pressure being applied by James Cullen, and referee Marcus Quinn awards the free to Wolf Tones, and this is another scoring opportunity for Wolf Tones. They haven't been great from the frees, as we mentioned, Rory, but this one is 4 or 5 metres inside the 65-metre line.
Yeah, and Éanna Harrington
going to take it.
Yeah, and Wolf Tones seem to have moved Éanna Harrington out from the edge of the square. Just the last couple of passages of play, he was out the half-forward line, which is surprising because he seemed to be very lively there. A couple of balls went into him inside, and he got 2 points there inside. But we'll see how he gets on here with this.
So Éanna Harrington bends and strikes this one, and it looks as if it's got the accuracy and the distance, and it does, and that's another point for Éanna Harrington, this time from a free, after missing 4 or 5 frees earlier on in succession. That's 7 points to 1 for Wolf Tones, leading Trim. 24 and a half minutes gone in this opening half, and Trim really need a score, as this game is just going to get away from them. There's 6 points between the sides, and again that puck out breaks to a Wolf Tones player, and it's Conor Shepherd who kicks it out in the direction of Jerry Farley, and Jerry Farley gets in the end, but it's David Murtagh who manages to cut out that ball, but in turn his through ball is cut out by Éanna Harrington, but it's Peter Farrell who muscles in there for Trim, loses the hurl and hand passes it back to David Murtagh, and David Murtagh's ball then into the corner is very disappointing ball, and it's easily cut out. It's with Jerry Farley again, and Arnie McGee applying a little bit of afters onto Jerry Farley there, but it's Wolf Tones who come attacking again. Kayla Callaghan with the long ball down that right hand side, and it's Dara Kennedy against Dara Canny, and Dara Canny has a look at the post, and the umpire, thankfully from a Trim point of view, waves that one wide. 25 and a half minutes gone. Wolf Tones 7 points, Trim 1 point, Rory.
Yeah, and Trim just can't win the puck out. They cannot win their own puck out. A lot of them have been raining down here in front of us, just right in front of us here, the stand side. Here's another one coming this way as well, but Trim just haven't got the breaking ball at all. Wolf Tones should be winning everything. There's another breaking ball there. Trim
not winning clean possession or secondary possession, and that's probably a testament to the fact that Wolf Tones are stronger in these positions, bigger, stronger men, with the exception of Peter Farrell and Joey Toole probably underneath those dropping balls. Trim are getting muscled out of them way too easy, but on this occasion they have a free in and an opportunity for Arnie, probably a similar enough position to the winning point he scored against Rathmolline in the quarter final. And while that was a winning score and got them over the line, this is equally as important opportunity for Trim here, Rory.
It certainly is. Strikes it. Oh, lovely strike from Arnie.
Strikes it.
Beautiful.
And that's over the bar from Arnie McGee. It's Trim's second point and their second score from a free, and badly needed. It's Trim 2 points, Wolf Tones 7 points, and we're 3.5 minutes out from half time. So a puck out coming from Killian O'Brien. Trim tried to contest this again, and it's with Danny Coleman who's underneath it, and a couple of decisions starting to go Trim's way now, Rory.
Yeah, because they're showing a bit more intensity around the breaking ball, and that's what happens. If you put your body in there on the line, and you make it difficult for your opponent, and 9 times out of 10 he will foul you. So Trim were standing out. They were standing off there for the first 20 minutes or so, but they have upped it a little bit in the last couple of minutes, so long may that continue.
So much more difficult free here for Arnie McGee. He's right in the middle of the field, but tight to this right hand touchline, but he strikes it really well, and the keeper is looking straight up. Score from Arnie McGee. That's his third point, and it's Trim's third point, and a super score. And I suppose we're blessed, Rory, to think that, and thankfully Wolf Tones don't have a free taker like Arnie McGee, or this game would be out of Trim's range already.
Absolutely. If we can just get it tight now for the next 3 or 4 minutes and maybe sneak another score or two before half time, Trim will certainly be right in there coming to the second half.
So ball is played back towards Gary Fleming over there, and it's very close to the sideline, and the linesman on the other side says it's going to be a Wolf Tones ball. It's hard to tell from here, but it was
I think Kieran O'Rourke knew as soon as he played the ball back to Gaz. He shook his own head there. I think he knew he'd miscued the pass there, so it's just gone over the line.
So a sideline ball to Wolf Tones, just on the 45 metre line, right in front of the terrace there in Park Tolchin. They're going to play it backwards towards Brian Mead, and Brian Mead gets away from Conor McKeown, and plays it back to Thomas O'Reilly, who had taken the line ball, and Thomas O'Reilly has a look at the post, and it's gone to the left and thankfully gone wide from a Trim point of view. Callum Buckley had it waved wide before the umpire waved wide, so it's going to be an opportunity. Goes short with the puck out this time to Gary Fleming. Gary Fleming plays the ball right down the middle, and when the Wolf Tones defender Jerry Farley turns round, he sees he has it all his own way to pick the ball up, plays it out to Brian Mead. Brian Mead down into the corner, where Éanna Harrington, the danger man, is on the ball, and he's given too much space by Colin McGrath. And if you give a man of Éanna Harrington's class that much space, he's going to punish it, and he puts the ball over the bar, and that's 8 points for Wolf Tones. That's Éanna Harrington's fourth score, and 3 points for Trim, all three coming from place balls from Arnie McGee. And it's Donald Keoghan who tries to win the ball there, but he can't retain possession. It's Joey Toole who gets on and flicks the ball inside with a clever little hand pass by David Murtagh on towards Danny Coleman. Danny Coleman has got Conor Shepherd for company in there, but Danny Coleman tries to get a stick in, but he's surrounded straight away by David Coleman and Conor Shepherd. But the referee has given him a free in. Again, kind of a contentious call. I'm not 100% sure where the foul was there, but we'll take this one because there's definitely plenty have gone against Trim so far today.
He seemed to indicate that Danny's hurl was being held, but the bit of bewilderment there, even the Wolf Tones defenders. There was two of them there to just around the one Trim player, so they didn't need to get to foul him. But anyway, yeah, here we go. We'll take it. So hopefully Arnie can slot this one over.
Another free here from Arnie McGee. This one obviously a lot closer, 20 metres out. Lower drive this time, but equal amount of force and the same result as usual. And that's Arnie McGee's fourth free. And it's double scores. It's 8 points for Wolf Tones, 4 points for Trim. And the clock just moves on to the half-hour mark, so we're at the referee's discretion. The clock was stopped here for the water break, so there's just injury time is all we're playing, and there hasn't been too much of that. As Wolf Tones go in the attack game, Trim need to be careful here. Caleb Halligan on the ball. He looks up, takes a swing at it, and that's a super point from Caleb Halligan. But again, he's just given too much room. He managed to pick the ball up, uses that little bit of strength and pace to create an extra yard for himself and pop the ball over the bar.
He's been very good actually in the first half, Craig Halligan. He's been raiding down that far to the line, so he deserved that score.
The wind is starting to rise here again in Partulchan, and it's definitely favouring Wolf Tones in this first half, and that puck out falls in Wolf Tones' favour. It's Thomas O'Reilly, plays the 1-2 with Stephen Shepherd. Stephen Shepherd has to go back then towards Jerry Farley. He didn't get the ball back, Thomas O'Reilly. Jerry Farley plays it short inside to Donald Kyogan. Donald Kyogan has a look up and has a swing, and it's gone to the left, and another wide for Wolf Tones. I wasn't keeping the track on the wides, but I'd say they're very close to double figures in this opening half, as they lead by 9 points to 4.
Half time, I think referee's calling for the ball there.
That's the half time here, Rory. Yeah, so it's Wolf Tones 9 points, Trim 4 points. Only a minute of injury time played at the end of that. I know you have to go off and help prepare the team for the next game, the senior semi-final against the
We'll stay for a little while longer anyway. But, I think it's only 20 to 4 here. We've another few minutes.
Trim didn't play to the level that they would have hoped for in the opening quarter of that game before the water break. It was only after, as you said, the words that were spoken to the players at the water break made a huge difference and definitely upped their intensity in that second quarter. Okay, they haven't scored from play, but they've created more opportunities and been more intense under those breaking balls and dropping balls.
Yeah, they have, and you know, and a bit of luck that goes with it, because if Wolf Tones had put even over half of those balls they put wide, you know, they'd be 8-9 points maybe clear. At the minute there's only 5 points in it.
5 minutes, yeah.
You know, and with that bit of breeze, which is swirling, it's died now at the moment. It picked up there just before half time, and it seems to have dropped a little bit now. But look at Trim can play better, and they need to play better. As I said before, we need to get Davy and Rourke on the ball in the middle of the field there. They just haven't been picking up anything at all. They haven't been allowed to pick up anything, but there was one incident there that summed up the first half, and it was just that 45, that sideline ball that Wolf Tones had on the 45 just a few minutes ago, where the player on the ball was able to play the ball back to his wing back, who was then able to return the ball back to the player who'd taken the 45, and you know, neither man was put under pressure from a Trim player. Yeah. So Trim really want to be a lot sharper, you know, and just up their work rate all around the ground. I just wonder whether, you know, there's a couple of these lads have been called into the senior squad for, you know, to help out in the senior squad now this afternoon later on, and I just wonder if that's playing on their mind and if that's affecting their performance here. You know, I hope not. I hope they just go and play their game here, you know, this game on its merits and move on. But we have to say that, you know, Wolf Tones are a good outfit. You know, I mean, we're talking about Trim and Trim not playing terribly well. Wolf Tones are a good outfit. Some lovely hurlers there, and as you mentioned, they are fit. They've got guys there who've got inter-county football conditioning, strength and conditioning, you know, under their belts, and it has shown there on occasions in the first half where they have just kind of muscled some of the lighter, younger Trim players off the ball, you know, and it looks very easy, but it's, you know, the Trim lads are trying their best, but they just haven't got that strength, you know.
Will Trim look to play the ball a lot more direct in the second half if they do have to win behind them? Will they look to play a more direct style and get that ball in quicker into Joey Toole and into Peter Farland and try to get an early goal, or will they stick with the kind of running game? It's a kind of short pop passing and then a running game that they tried to apply in that opening period, which didn't really work. It
really depends on who gets on the ball for Trim. You know, if Davy and Rourke get on the ball, they will run, you know, 10-15 yards and let the ball in. They'll mix it up. They might put Petey into the edge of the square and try a couple of long balls in on top of him. You know, bring Joey out to pick up some balls here. So, and it looks like Brian McKeown here was helping us out today, and the camera just pointed out seems to be a change here, that Stephen Doyle seems to be getting ready to come in here, so we'll see who he's replacing. So Stephen played very well here the last day. He came on against Rathmolline and played in full forward, and was the focal point of a lot of Trim's attacks, and a lot of the ball, you know, was aimed in towards him, and some of the smaller lads then picking up the pieces around him. So maybe that's an indication of how they're going to set up for the second half.
And a couple of the senior lads down there as well, just talking to some of the younger players. I see Dougie there just chatting to Danny Coleman and offering a little bit of advice. So it's great for young lads like that to be able to draw on the experience of the senior lads who are on here after this game. And it really is a club collective type of effort over the last few weeks and hopefully over the coming weeks that it's a couple of big days ahead. And
hopefully there's a couple more big days to come, Fergal, indeed. And most of the senior squad are here. I can see them scattered around us here in the stand. So they'll be going at the back now to start their warm up now in 15 minutes or so. Yeah, but Dougie's a great inspiration there he's great. He's always there, turns up for junior games, intermediate games, whatever. And he's always with an encouraging word for the lads. Just a quick hello to Cian Lee if he's watching us. Cian, I see your dad down here helping out the trim lads here with the hurleys and that sort of stuff. Cian, who will be part of this team, has moved to Sunderland recently to further his studies, doing physiotherapy studies over in Sunderland. So if you're watching, Cian, we're thinking of you, and we wish you were here this afternoon, pal.
Did he bring his boots to Sunderland? Because they could probably do with Cian Lee playing as well at Sunderland there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a fine soccer player, Cian. So they could he may well get an opportunity over there. He mightn't come home at all. But anyway, Cian, we could certainly do what you here today, pal. But I hope you're keeping well.
Just looking at the senior game on at it's 5 o'clock, isn't it, after this game? Kildalkey probably are still rattled by the hammering they took from Ratoath earlier in the campaign, the last which saw them having to go through the quarter-final. Now they recovered a good bit in the quarter-final and were impressive enough, but they're still a wounded animal, Rory, and you certainly wouldn't be taking Kildalkey for granted. Oh
no, certainly not. And they're the defending champions and whatever, and the last time we played them in the championship was at this stage 2 years ago, where we managed to beat them. So I mean, there's a lot of they'll have a lot of motivating factors there today, so it's going to be an absolute cracking game. But then, having said that, we are certainly up for the task as well. As you know, we've one or two players missing with injury or whatever, but that's certainly not an excuse at all. We've got a very, very good squad. We've got a mix of young and old. We've come on a good bit over the last couple of years, so a lot of the established players like Brian Dowling or whatever, they're only 21 years of age, and they're like established members of the team now. Ian Birmingham and Dylan Farrell and all these, Mikey Cole. I mean, these are only 19, 20 years of age. But they relish playing in Páirc Tailteann. They're young, they have the legs, so they relish the open spaces here. So we're looking forward to that game. We just can't wait for it now. But hopefully we get this and a good result here, which will just carry the momentum for the whole club forward. And our juniors are playing tomorrow morning as well, semi-final tomorrow up against Sportsmill, and it's in Trim. I think the club's tossed for venue, and so it's in Trim, and that game is on Reds TV tomorrow. So it's a busy weekend ahead.
Busy weekend, yeah. Honest to God, unfortunately I won't get to that one myself because we're on duty here. Again, there's senior hurling.
Tune in, Fergal, and
minor football and senior hurling semi-finals on tomorrow. So we'll be busy with that. So both teams getting back into position now. Just a one sub for Trim. I didn't see who went off there, Rory.
No, we'll have a little look here now and see.
It is Stephen Doyle that's in. It is Stephen Doyle who's in for Trim.
It's Kieran O'Rourke. Kieran O'Rourke has been taken off, and I think that's to do with keeping him fresh for the senior game. I think that was an arrangement between the both management teams. So
Stephen Doyle in for Kieran O'Rourke. Kieran O'Rourke, after putting in a 30-minute shift, and is on the panel for the game that follows this one. It's Wolf Tones going the attack there, and it's Éanna Harrington putting plenty of pressure on the Trim backs again there, but it's David Murta who completes that clearance for Trim. Again, it's Wolf Tones just using their strength, and Garrod O'Brien getting in front and winning that ball, and that's well picked up by Caola Callaghan over on that far side, and he delivers the long ball where there's going to be pressure applied straight away on Colin McGrath. But Colin McGrath does well there, and Dara Kennedy is in the end up, but it's Donald Keoghan who comes out with the ball, and he shovels it out to the right hand side, but it's a great pull in there by I think it's Dara Kennedy who managed to get the ball out, and it's Donald Keoghan again. So Trim showing plenty of intent and intensity here to try and make Wolf Tones work harder for the scores. It's Colin McGrath who has to try and dig it out, but again it's Wolf Tones who come out with the ball, and it's out to Mark Coleman, and from 44 metres out, Mark Coleman has an eye for the post, and he puts the ball over the bar, and it's 10 points for Wolf Tones, 4 points for Trim.
Yeah, just that change that made Barney is on for Rourke. Barney's got in full forward. I see. And a change in the midfield. James Cullen has gone into midfield, and Danny Coleman has gone into to wing back.
Substitution of the third team at the start of the second half. Number 18, Kieran O'Rourke, replaced by number 12, Stephen Doyle.
So just that substitution confirmed there over the PA.
The referee just checking with the linesman there. I think there was a very aggressive challenge there on the Trim player, but I think the referee's going to just let it go. And he actually gave the second challenge. He gave the free for, not the first one.
Yeah. And he was let know by the Trim supporters who have gathered here behind us that he might have just missed that foul. But it's going to be another free from Arnie McGee on his own 65 metre line. The wind is behind him, he strikes that, but this might just drop short, and it's in the danger area around the goal man. It's Joey Toole who's battling for it, but it's Brian Meath who manages to pick up the loose ball and completes the clearance out to Jerry Farley, and his clearance down the line towards Donald Keoghan. Donald Keoghan has got Danny Coleman for company, and it's now James Cullen who's chasing after Donald Keoghan, but Donald Keoghan can't get the ball on, and it's going to be a Trim line ball here right in front of us, just in front of the stand, and it's going to be David Murtagh who'll take it, under the watchful eye there of John Andrews and Frank Foley, just keeping an eye on things. So David Murtagh, he strikes the sideline, and it's a good cut down the line, but again it's Wolf Tones who get themselves into the position, and it looked as if Jerry Farley was going to cut it out, but it's Conor McKeown who's on the ball. He just can't get the ball up onto his stick, and the Wolf Tones defender, full-back Owen Harrington, another former Meath footballer, who comes out and manages to clear the danger. The ball cleared across to a possible future Meath footballer, Caolan Halligan, and Caolan Halligan manages eventually to get the ball under control on a stick, and he races towards the 45 metre line. Caolan Halligan has a look up at the post, and he takes a shot, but it just drops to the right and goes wide. It's another let off for Trim. 3.5 minutes into the second half, and there's 6 points between the team. Wolf Tones 10, Trim 4.
Yeah, and that last passage we saw Conor McKeown running into the corner, and there was four Wolf Tones men around him, and the Trim lads just not getting involved, not helping him out. Conor will need help up there.
Yeah, the intensity of the Wolf Tones pressure that they're applying on the Trim forwards is really starting to tell as Conor McKeown gets inside the road O'Brien again. Can Conor McKeown create a yard of space for himself to get away? He has to be settled with centering the ball. He centres it in towards Joey Toole. Joey Toole tries to play it back to Peter Farrell, but the pass doesn't connect. And
Joey had time to turn like a shot there, I think myself, Fergal, but Peter was making a good run. He tried to feed Peter to burst in towards the goals, but maybe a simple tap over point would have been settled Trim down a bit here. I
think Joey is trying to play a lot of the link play instead of maybe trying to assume a lot of the responsibility himself for taking the scores. If Joey can swing over a point or two and get his own confidence up, he really can be a match winner for Trim. So it's going to be another sideline ball here which David Murtagh will take, but they're in the wrong part of the field for this bit of pressure, well inside the 45 metre line. It's another good cut by David Murtagh but towards Joey Toole, but he can't win it, and it's Mark Coleman who's been excellent so far for Wolf Tones. Gets the ball back to Brian Meath, but he misses the swing. It's played down to Peter Farrell. Peter Farrell then in towards Aaron McGee, and Arnie McGee is fouled, and he'll dust himself down and he'll aim for his 5th point here, and it's well within his range again. His last effort dropped short, which was unusual, especially with the bit of wind behind him. So it's Arnie McGee with the opportunity for his and Trim's 5th point. Arnie strikes it high and strikes it well, and it's over the bar, and that's a 5th point for Arnie McGee. And it's now Trim 5 points, Wolf Tones 10 points, and just the score they needed to cancel out that early score from Wolf Tones.
It is, and I see they've another sub getting ready to come in here. Trim Andy Dinan is a forward warming up here as well, let's see, so maybe he'll be coming in the next couple of minutes.
Trim go, or Wolf Tones who go on the attack here again. It's Éanna Harrington up against Colin McGrath. That's been a great tussle all afternoon. Éanna Harrington, an exceptional hurler, and Colin McGrath has stood up to most of what has been thrown at him so far, but it's another hopeful and ended up in a hopeless ball into the Trim forwards that's easily cleared by the Wolf Tones defence, and they move the ball inside the 65 metre line where they earn a free, and this is going to be another effort for, I'd say, Éanna Harrington is going to come out for this one. It is Éanna Harrington.
The sub just ready to go in here. CJ just having a word with Andy here down in front of us, so it's another change in the forwards for for Trim, so certainly it's an indication they've only got 5 scores on the board, all place balls from Arnie, so they haven't scored from play yet.
There's Andy Dinan, but there's also Jack Cottrell who's down there injured, so whether he'll come in for Jack Cottrell in a bit of a reshuffle or...
I think it looks like Kevin Lennon may be moving back to wing back. I see Kevin making his way back there on the far side of the field, so maybe Kevin will go in for Jack, and in its opposition Andy will move into the forwards. That seems to be what's happening there.
You have an eye for this game, Rory. Spotted that a mile away, yeah. So it does look as if Kevin Lennon is reverting back to the wing back position that the number on his shirt says he should be playing in. Or is he? Because Jack Cottrell is back on his feet.
Number 7, Jack Cottrell, replaced by number 13, Andy Dinan.
Again, Andy, you know, he's in that mould of player. You know, he's not the biggest man, but he's very pacey. So they will need to get a good ball in, you know, into open space for these guys, because they're not going to win the physical battle, because, you know, we've spoken with the Wolf Tones guys.
Another free for Éanna Harrington, and that just stretches Wolf Tones' lead to Wolf Tones 11 points, Trim 5 points. We're just gone over 7.5 minutes gone in the second half, and Trim might need a goal to get back into this game. I know there's still plenty of time to get the points on the board, but they need a spark of a goal, and it's Wolf Tones who come on the attack again here, and it's Caola Callaghan who plays the ball on towards Thomas O'Reilly. Thomas O'Reilly creates a yard of space for himself. Heath Laser tried to play it in centrally, but that's great defending there by Cian Walsh, who managed to cut out the danger, and he tries to complete the Trim clearance again, but it's straight down the throat of a Wolf Tones player again, but it's Conor McKeown who manages to nick in and win that ball, but again it's a poor pass, and the Trim player in behind his man and not getting out in front, and Trim just aren't securing enough primary possession, and they're living off scraps, whereas Wolf Tones, and it's Donald Keoghan who's going on the attack here again. Donald Keoghan plays it out to the captain Stephen Shepherd. Stephen Shepherd doesn't get it up first time, but he still has time to pick it up and get the ball in, and Callum Buckley has to tip it over the bar with his fingers. He tried to catch it, but it just came off the tip of his fingers and over the bar, and there's just the difference. And in terms of confidence on the ball, Trim are struggling to get on and win clean possession. When Wolf Tones are very precise and accurate in their play and delivery, and it's a foul on David Murtagh here right down in front of us, so this will be a free for Trim.
And I see it looks like that Wolf Tones have now dropped a man back. I see Gary Fleming is here on his own here on the Trim 45, and it seems that Wolf Tones have now dropped. The number 9 seems to have gone back into Mark Coleman seems to be dropping back into kind of a sweeper, so trying to guard against it. You said there, we all realise that Trim do need a goal to spark this thing alive, and Wolf Tones are trying to prevent that.
So it's a free for Arnie McGee, just inside or outside his own 65, and he strikes it well, and it's a brilliant strike. It might just tail off to the left. It does, and it's gone to the left and wide. And it was a good strike from Arnie, and it looked to be going on target, but it just never curled in at all and stayed on that straight line to the left and wide. And it's Wolf Tones who go on the attack here again. Long ball in towards Éanna Harrington, but it's picked out of the sky there by Dara Canny. And Dara Canny has caused a lot of trouble in there, but it's Cian Walsh again who manages to get the ball out, and Trim complete the clearance down the right hand side down towards Andy Dinan. But Andy Dinan can't get anything, and it's Wolf Tones again with Mark Coleman on the ball. Mark Coleman's been very influential for Wolf Tones, and it's shovelled on into midfield where they deliver another long ball, but that one is too long and it will go out over the end line and wide. So it's a let off for Trim. They just can't get into the game. Haven't got a score from play yet. So it's a David Murtagh's foul. Trim haven't got a score from play yet, Rory. It's been 5 frees from Arnie McGee, and it's Joey Toole coming out to take this one, which would suggest that he wants Arnie in there, maybe underneath it, but this could be resorting to going looking for goals, and it's very early in the game and still only 7 points in it with 19 minutes remaining. So it's Joey Toole with the free this time, and Joey strikes it well. Will this one drop short or go over the bar? And it's a good strike from Joey Toole. It's a beautiful strike from just 2 or 3 yards outside his own 65 from Joey Toole, and that's Trim's 6th point. They're 6th from frees, and they trail by 6. It's Wolf Tones 12 points, Trim 6 points, 11 minutes gone in the second half, and it's James Cullen who does superbly well. linesman, I think it's Bernard Heaney on this side. I don't think there can be much complaint. They will complain, but I don't think there can be much complaint. The ball did look to be out over the sideline that time.
Yeah, but at least James went hard at that ball and won it, which is encouraging. Just need to keep that intensity up. He was a bit unlucky. He just got muscled a little bit gentle shove over the line. I think he just before he got his hand pass away, and the linesman was correct in awarding the sideline ball there to the Wolf Tones. Yeah,
the Trim do really need to raise the intensity levels again. They did it for the second quarter, but it's faded away a little bit again at the start of the second half, and it's just allowed Wolf Tones to take on the 3 points. So it's been it's 3 points to 2 in the second half. Suggests it's a tighter game, but Wolf Tones have been more intense and more physical and have had more of the ball. Trim need to just win a little bit more dirty ball and be a little bit more cynical maybe around the place and try to secure that primary possession.
Yeah, and Conor McKeown here has got on a couple of balls here now in the second half, probably more ball already in the second half than he got for the entire first half. He's kind of come out from the corner now and he's playing around the half forward line. But again, he's a smaller man up against a much bigger man, so it's going to be the ball on the ground that's going to it's going to be a good ball played into him. So Trim just need to get the ball moving again. They still haven't clicked yet.
I apologise to Bernard Heaney, who I said was the linesman here. It's actually Martin Dawson is actually the linesman on this side here. So it's going to be a free for Trim, and it's taken in there by Gary Fleming. Fleming is a good ball over across in front of Andy Dinan. Andy Dinan is stood up by Garrod O'Brien. He tries to get inside Garrod O'Brien, and Garrod O'Brien takes him down with a little clip of the heels, and Garrod O'Brien could find himself facing a card the same colour as his helmet. Good bit of skill there by Andy Dinan. Uses, as you mentioned, he brings a bit of pace to the side, so he uses pace well to get inside Garrod O'Brien. And Garrod O'Brien had no option really, only to foul him. Yeah, no, great passage to play there. Gaz, there was a free here in front of us. Gaz took it very quickly and played a lovely ball into the space. The perfect ball for the forward. The type of forwards we have here in Trim, out in front of them. And Andy did very well. Got the ball, took on his man. It was the first ball he got, and he was right to take on his man, test him out early, and he got fouled. And as you say, he did get a yellow card there. Yellow card, so it's a free for Arnie McGee, and he drives it again, the low trajectory, but again it's a very familiar result, and it's over the bar, and that's just 5 points between the sides now. It's Trim's still haven't scored from play, but there's 7 points, so Wolf Tones 12. I'll be quite pleased defensively with what they've done so far, Trim. I know Wolf Tones haven't been firing on all cylinders, but Trim are still within shouting the touching distance of this game. They trail by 5, and with 16 minutes remaining. Yeah, and that's probably the first mistake there as well that they've had from their own puck out. It's going straight over the far sideline. So Trim can just get the next score or two and not concede. I still think Trim are going to need a goal probably to win this game, but if we can avoid conceding a goal as well, and the longer that we can stay in the game, you always have a chance. Well, Wolf Tones might start to worry as well that they have been the dominant team so far, but they just haven't put Trim away. It's Wolf Tones 12 points, Trim 7 points. Trim going the attack again here, but that line ball comes to nothing with Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman seems to be everywhere. He seems to be at the end of every dropping ball, at every line ball, at every puck out. He seems to be everywhere. He's been a super player for them, and with Aina Harrington inside causing trouble, although, as we said, Trim have defended quite well to limit Wolf Tones to the 12 points. I know a lot of that lack of scoring is from their own mis-shooting and misfiring, but there's only 5 points in it, and there's 15 minutes gone, so I'm sure the next break in play will probably resume with this line ball. There's no ball over on the far side, and Trim are calling for the ball. They're trailed by 5 points. Should be a little bit more urgency on the line here to get the ball. One of the players had to go out into the terrace to try and retrieve the ball for this sideline to be taken, and it's Andy Dinan just knocking it over towards Aina Harrington, who's going to take this sideline. Yeah, again they moved Aina out from the goals into Stephen Shepherd in full forward position. Now Aina's out to try and against the wind, maybe just to try and get on the ball, and he mishits that one. Barney, Stephen Doyle to make a few mistakes now, Wolf Tones, and Stephen Doyle who wins that ball, and he gets it in front, and it's going to be Conor McKeown, and he gets it up with the hand. Now we can see a little bit of turn of pace. He's tackled by Conor Shepherd, and it's Conor McKeown. He has to forage for the ball again, but again he just gets muscled out by the stronger Wolf Tones players, and that's Thomas O'Reilly. Again, you talk about physical strength. It's a man with intercounty football conditioning against Conor McKeown, who's got all the pace in the world, but just pulled off the ball that time. It was a great opportunity for Trim there to try and get another point, which would have closed it to 4. Yeah, I think Conor had a goal on his mind there. He had a couple of runners either side of him, but he just got swallowed up before he could get the pass away. Here's Gary with the free again. He's going to try and drill a low ball into the. No, he's gone high this time. So this is in direction of Arnie McGee, and Arnie McGee is on it, but it's Peter Farrell who comes out, and Peter can't get the ball up onto the stick, and it's Wolf Tones full back Owen Harrington who nicks the ball away and manages to get up the stick and earns the foul, and that's a soft free really for Trim to concede there.
Yeah, Arnie caught him high there as he was coming out after winning the ball, but again Peter had the chance to get his pick, and it's just that lack of sharpness that's just been a feature of Trim's play today. Just that little bit of lack of sharpness. They just need to get on some balls.
Wolf Tones have made very few mistakes in that regard. Their handling has been good. They've managed to claim possession pretty well, and their striking has been pretty good. And Trim again just there conceding a soft free, harmless free there, and it just water break now, and Trim concede the free there. Rory, I'm sure you probably have to head off, although a lot of the players don't seem to be heading too concerned yet.
Yeah, we've another couple of minutes.
You still have an hour to go.
Unusual there. I know, again, harp on about water breaks and you know, I don't want to be bringing up your favourite subject, Fergal, but do you think the referee would have let the Wolf Tones player take the free from 45 metres there? It was probably going to go wide or over the bar, and you know, stop the play when it's a puck out, which seems to be the most times they stop the play. But to stop the play, you know, let the player go in and think about having to take a free. Now I think that's very unusual. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that before. Normally it does happen that they allow, you know, a break in play, and that break being, you know, from a wide or from a score, that's generally when the water break kicks in. I've often seen referees allow a minute or two of treatment to an injured player in the lead up to a water break, and then play resumes, and 30 seconds later they call for a water break. So I don't know why we need water breaks. We're heading towards October now, and there was never water breaks any other year at this time of the year, so I don't know why we need them now.
Yeah, I just know if I was the free taker now, I'd sooner just, you know, in the heat of the game when your blood is up, I'd sooner just put the ball down and take me free rather than have to go away and, you know, have a drink of water and come back a little bit stiff and cold after it and take a free, you know. Yeah,
they can be momentum breakers as well,
and
Trim, they did take advantage of it a bit of the water break in the first half, where they came out with a lot more intensity, and you would hope for the start of this water break in the second half that they can come out now with a lot more intensity as well. But as I say, play will resume with a free to Wolf Tones, and we just hope that the players remember the situation and that they don't just fall asleep and let a short one be taken here and Wolf Tones sneak in for a goal, which would be a right killer altogether.
Yeah, well, Trim broke first of the huddle, so hopefully that you know, they'll pick up their men as they start to come out. But Trim, just again, the forwards, they just haven't really got going. Arnie hasn't really got going from open play. Stephen Doyle, who come on there at half time, hasn't really got into the game. He's gone to centre forward here now. I see him standing. Peter Farrell has got into full forward, so maybe there's going to be some high ball going in.
There's 47 minutes of play, and Trim haven't scored yet from play, so all their scores coming from frees. And this is Aina Harrington, and it's going to sneak inside that left upright, and it is over the bar, and that's 13 points for Wolf Tones, and by my reckoning that's 6, I think, for Aina Harrington. 3 frees and 3 from play. He's been very effective, Aina Harrington, and has punished Trim every opportunity. I won't say, it is every opportunity, because I think the early frees weren't exactly missed. It wasn't Aina Harrington who missed them, but he's been impressive for Wolf Tones, and he's definitely driven them on. So
Trim managed to win the puck out that time, and they've manufactured a free in the middle of the field. Joey got fouled as he was trying to pass the ball out to the wing there, so I think he's going to take this free himself.
They haven't won enough puckouts. They haven't won those type of dirty balls, as we said earlier on. So it's Joey Toole now with this free. He's about 55 metres out, pretty much straight in front of the post. These are trademark Joey Toole scores down through the years, and Joey doesn't miss that one either. That's Trim's 8th point from a free. There's just 5 points in it. We've 18 minutes gone in this second half. It's Wolf Tones 13 points, Trim 8 points, and another puck out here from Killian O'Brien. Falls over on the left hand side. It's Aina Harrington, I think, again, who's on the ball.
Kelly Lynch.
He gets the ball in towards Thomas O'Reilly. He's got Colin McGrath standing in front of him, blocking his path. Thomas O'Reilly tries to get it back here, and it's Wolf Tones in a very dangerous area. Played back out towards Caoimhe Halligan. Caoimhe Halligan has a pop at the post, and that goes over the bar, and that's a good score from Caoimhe Halligan. That's his second, and it stretches Wolf Tones' lead to 14 points to 8, and we've 11 minutes left. That's 6 of their 5 of their starting forwards have all scored. Donald Curtis being the only one who hasn't scored, and Mark Coleman has also chipped in with a point. So there's 6 different scorers, Wolf Tones, and all bar 3 points from frees. So they've 11 scores from play. Trim have yet to score from play, and I think that basically tells the difference. They've been relying on frees from Arnie in the first half and Joey in the second half. This one from his own 65 metre line, he's going to drop it in around the square. It is going to drop short, but it's Brian Meath who's underneath it, who claims it superbly, and it's a simple enough clearance. So he caught the ball well, Brian Meath, but no pressure applied on him as Wolf Tones find it too easy to come out from defence, and it's Éanna Harrington who's on the ball now. He plays it into this near corner where Dara Canny is underneath it, and it breaks down to Donald Keoghan. Donald Keoghan pops the ball onto the stick, looks as if he took too many steps. He plays to Thomas O'Reilly. Thomas O'Reilly back to Dara Canny. He had a goal chance, but he popped it over the bar. That's Dara Canny's 2nd point. It's Wolf Tones' 15th point, and they're starting to just put even more daylight between the sides now.
Yeah, and they're getting the scores easy there. The scores are coming very easy, and as you say, Trim still haven't scored from play, and they're fighting, but they're making no headway at all.
Yeah, that free from Joey Toole that dropped short, and it was Brian Meath that climbed highest and won it, and put no pressure applied on him. It was too easy for them in that situation, and Trim haven't scored from play yet, and that's another attacking opportunity that's cut out by Conor Shepherd, and the ball is played across to Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman will play it long down in the direction of Stephen Shepherd. Stephen Shepherd is underneath it, but he only breaks it down towards James Cullen. And James Cullen then out here to the left hand side to David Murtagh, but he just can't pick it up first time. The first touch just isn't there for Trim. Pressure applied by Donald Keoghan on David Murtagh. He eventually gets it half cleared in the direction of Joey Toole, but it's Brian Meath who cuts it out, and the minute Brian Meath picked the ball up, he put the hands out, drew the foul, and Marcus Quinn had no other option just to say free into Wolf Tones.
Yeah, that sums up Trim's day, and the difference between Trim today and the other day. That, the last couple of rounds, that ball that was played was a great clearance from James Cullen to Davey, who seemed to have a load of space but missed his first pick, and by the time he did get the ball under control, there was 2 Wolf Tones around him. The last day against Rathmullen, that ball was already gone, and it was into the corner forwards before the attackers had put any heat on him. But it's just not Trim's day today by the looks of it.
So another free here for Éanna Harrington, and another point for Éanna Harrington, and that is a double scores game now. It's 16 points to Wolf Tones, it's 8 points for Trim. There's only just a little over 8 minutes remaining plus injury time. The goals that Trim need don't look like coming. They haven't scored from play yet. They've gone 52 minutes without a score from play. All 8 points coming from frees, 6 from Arnie McGee, 2 from Joey Toole. Whereas Wolf Tones have had more widespread of scores. Mark Coleman getting a point, 2 for Kayla Callaghan, 3 for Stephen Shepherd, 2 for Dara Kenny, 1 for Éanna O'Kelly Lynch, and Éanna Harrington chipping in with the rest, including 4 frees.
Number 12, Dara Kenny, and replaced by number 19, Gary McFadden.
So Gary McFadden coming on for Wolf Tones. They'll start to empty their bench now and disrupt the play even more by bringing in sub after sub, but it's going to be a free for Arnie McGee. It looks as if he's lining it up to take the score. This doesn't look as if it's going to be dropped on the square, and Arnie lines it up, and it does drop short, and it was Joey Toole who was underneath it. It was actually Stephen Doyle who was underneath it, and he couldn't get the stick on it to divert it goalwards. And we're going to have to let you go now, Rory.
Yeah, I'm going to head off now. We're going to do our warm up in the backfield for the senior game. So Fergal, best of luck for the rest of the commentary. Thanks. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us, Rory. So you'll have to deal with my dulcet tones now for the remaining 7 minutes. Our Brian wants to jump in. He's busy on the camera here, but it's going to be a free for Wolf Tones, and it's going to be a yellow card for Gary Fleming. And this game has just gotten away for Trim in the last 10 minutes. They were never seriously in it. They had struggled to get the scores on the board earlier on, haven't got a score from play at all, and it's a yellow card for Gary Fleming. And it offers another opportunity for Éanna Harrington to extend Wolf Tones' lead. It's 16 points to Wolf Tones, 8 points to Trim, 23 minutes and 47 seconds gone in the second half. And it's Éanna Harrington who stands over this free. He's just 2 yards inside his own 65, or outside the 65, and he strikes it well, and it's gone over the bar, and that's another super score from Éanna Harrington. That is 8 points for Éanna Harrington by my reckoning. That's 17 points for Wolf Tones. There's 9 points between the sides. So from a position where Trim were only 4 or 5 points behind and still in the game, or 4 points behind when they trailed 9-5, but they have struggled to get it in and conceded another careless free, and this will be another tap over score for Wolf Tones for Éanna Harrington, and this should bring his tally to 9 points. So it's been a disappointing day for Trim after the heroics of the quarter-final victory over Rathmolline and the euphoria of that, and there was a sense coming into this game that Trim could cause an upset. It was always going to be difficult against a team of the calibre of Wolf Tones, of the physique and the strength and the power that Wolf Tones had. It was always expected to be a bridge too far maybe for Trim, but Trim will be disappointed with the way that they've never really performed. They still haven't scored from play, and this is going to be another tap over free for Wolf Tones, who already lead by 9 points. This will put 10 between the sides, and it's Éanna Harrington with another free. That's his 6th of the evening.
Number 11, Stephen Shepherd, is replaced by number 18, Ray Doran.
So Ray Doran coming on for Wolf Tones, a former Meath and Longwood hurler who now lives in Gibbstown, out in that Orristown, Gibbstown direction. So Ray Doran, a veteran of the game in the county, on for Wolf Tones, and they're in a comfortable position. They lead by 10 points. There's 4.5 minutes remaining. It's Wolf Tones 18 points, Trim 8 points. It's just all really momentum, or the physicality has gone out of the game and the urgency has gone out of the game as Trim go on the attack. It's Peter Curran plays it back to Colin McGrath, who's in a more attacking position now, but Colin McGrath's quickly bottled up by Donald Keoghan in there, and with the pressure applied, it's Jerry Farley who's able to pick up the ball back to Brian Meath, and they can complete the clearance out to Thomas O'Reilly, who has Conor McKeown for company, and it's not a very fair fight between Thomas O'Reilly and Conor McKeown in terms of physicality, so there's a battle going on off the ball here. Dara Kennedy throwing away the hurl of Stephen Shepherd, who the PA had announced that he had gone off, but that substitution is only happening now with Ray Doran coming on. So it's Ray Doran only coming on now, as Stephen Shepherd has to go after his hurl before he returns to join up with his teammates. But as he getting a little bit of lip from the Trim sideline as he's going to pick up his hurl, he just points at the scoreboard and says, well, there's 10 points between the team, lads, there's no point in mouthing at me here. So it's look out from Callum Buckley, but it's Wolf Tones who go on the attack again. It's Éanna Kelly Lynch. He's got all the time and all the space in the world, and he makes no mistake. That's Éanna Kelly Lynch's 2nd point. That's 19 points for Wolf Tones, 8 points for Trim. 2.5 minutes remaining, and I'd say the Trim players can't wait for it to be put out of their agony in this one, because it's been a comprehensive defeat, and they've just found Wolf Tones too strong, too physical, too determined, and they never rose to the heights that they'd shown in the quarter-final. So the referee is calling back James Cullen here. He's not happy with something that was said behind his back, so he's having a word with James Cullen. So it's a red card. It's a straight red card for James Cullen. I'm not sure what he's seen there. James Cullen is saying that's ridiculous. I don't think anybody saw what happened there. Was it on the advice of the linesman or what? But it's a straight red card for James Cullen, and he's gone. So Trim will finish this game with 14 players, just to sum up the misery of the afternoon. And the ball is played out to substitute Gary McFadden, and he gets a point. That's 20 points for Wolf Tones, 8 points for Trim. Trim down to 14 players. James Cullen sent off, straight red card. Nobody seems to know what it was for, but it's Wolf Tones who go on the attack here again. It's Thomas O'Reilly playing it over to the far side. Éanna O'Kelly Lynch is on the ball. Éanna O'Kelly Lynch plays it down the line towards Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman's been brilliant for Wolf Tones. He plays it back out to Ray Doran. Ray Doran is bottled up there by Cian Walsh. Good pressure by Cian Walsh to win that ball and nick it away, but it's a Wolf Tones player who benefits from the loose ball. But now it's Trim have an opportunity here maybe, and when you say when they're only winning scraps around midfield that it's a half an opportunity. We're into the 60th minute, we still haven't got a score from play. It's Andy Dinan, but his centre is easily cut out back there by Caola Callaghan. Caola Callaghan delivers the ball long down to Donald Keoghan, the only one of the starting 6 forwards who hadn't scored from play for Wolf Tones, and he still hasn't scored from play for Wolf Tones.
Number 13,
So it's so Wolf Tones haven't made that substitution yet, hoping to bring in Donald Curtis for the man who's on the ball there now. It's Aon O'Kelly Lynch. He has 2 points to his name so far, Aon O'Kelly Lynch. He's hoping to mark his departure with a point, but his shot has gone to the left and wide. And here's Donald Curtis coming on to the Wolf Tones team, another former Meath footballer, current Meath senior football selector, taking his place on this Wolf Tones team. We're just coming up to the end of the hour mark, and it's Wolf Tones 20 points, Trim 8 points. And Aina O'Kelly Lynch goes off to a round of applause from the 150 or 200 supporters that are here. Well, definitely from 50 or 60 of the supporters anyway. Not sure the Trim supporters offered them too many rounds of applause. But it's just fading out, this game, and a few of the Trim players demanding more, but it's just not happening. Stephen Doyle over on the far side demanding more from the players around him, but it's just not happening. And it's Aina Harrington who's on the ball. He plays it out to the left hand side where Caola Callaghan, I think it is, has a shot at the post, and that's a superb score from the sideline over on the far side. It looks like it's Caola Callaghan, the Wolf Tones number 10. It's 21 points to Wolf Tones, it's 8 points to Trim. And Conor McKeown on the ball. Fair play to Conor McKeown, he's worked hard, and that's the final whistle. It's all over in Park Tolchin, and Trim's bid for 6 trophies. Sub was running down to the lines and hoping to get on for Wolf Tones, but he doesn't get on, and Trim's bid for 6 adult trophies just hasn't happened. And one of the Trim players going to have words with the referee and shake his hand or touch his hand, but Stephen Doyle is looking to shake hands with him, but he won't shake hands with him. But anyway, it's 21 points to Wolf Tones, 8 points to Trim, and the journey and the dream of an intermediate title is over for another year for Trim. But it's been a great journey for them to get to the semi-final of this championship. That superb victory over Rathmaline with that late 65 from Arnie McGee, that'll live long in the memory of this intermediate football team, or intermediate hurling team. But it wasn't to be for them today. Came up against a very strong Wolf Tones team, as you said, 21 points to 8. Trim failed to score from play in the hour, and they can have no complaints. They were out-muscled and outplayed by a very good and very strong, very physical Wolf Tones team. So from Reds TV here in Park Tolchin, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with coverage of the junior semi-final tomorrow morning, so be sure to join us on Reds TV for that game. Thanks very much.